provide some portion of funding from Wasatch County, or that we consider that. And I think there are some that would like to comment on that today, or we have some opinions on that. And if we want to have this on, I don't see why we couldn't have it on the future if someone else would like to be here for that discussion. So I'll go to our manager first. If you might have a little bit of background you could give us real quick, and then we'll come to council for any comments.
As most of you are aware, probably 17 or 18 years ago, I don't remember exactly, United Park City Lines went to the then Wasatch County Commission to seek a density determination for the property. United Park had worked, we didn't know at the time, but United Park had worked a deal with Park City, including other developments which were in Park City, as to the Red Cloud development and others, as to the densities, and with that secured from Snyderville Special Service District an agreement to annex the area into their district and to provide water and sewer services for the proposed density that Wasatch County was asked for. I think it was about 256 units.
I just found it in the development agreement, 260.
260. So it sat for quite a while. United Park was sold to Talisker. Then Talisker had talked about doing something with the property, but had worked with Tuhey and the properties over at the canyons. And with the foreclosure on the properties from Wells Fargo Bank, that property went to Wells Fargo Bank. We were contacted by a potential developer of the property. It's been over 6 months ago. Came and talked to us, some of the concerns and issues with the property. The main one would be access, but water and sewer and the drainage for the Midway area were also big concerns. Apparently, Park City looked at it and thought that might be great for them to own it as open space, and they contacted me. I couldn't find anything in the state statutes that prohibits a municipality from buying property in another county or jurisdiction to own it. We'd treat them just like any other person that would buy the property, I guess. And when they asked us if we'd have any concerns about that, we spoke as a council and myself, and there were several things that we were concerned about. If there were a conservation easement, we wanted to be involved in it. If we wanted to be involved in any planning for the trails and accommodations for parking. And so forth. And at the time, I was assured by the Park City manager that they would be asking us to participate. And I don't know if the deal fell through with the other potential purchaser of the property or exactly what happened. Park City held a bond election in November, and the electorate approved a $25 million bond for the purchase of open space. The Park City came back and wants to utilize that to purchase the property. They are short about $13 million from what the asking price for the property is from Wells Fargo. So I know that this issue or this question has arisen as, are we participating? I think all of you have heard my stance on it. I feel that what we're giving up in the way of tax revenue forever far exceeds the $38 million they're paying for the property. But we certainly are not objectionable to them owning it. I'm not objectionable to the people that have the entitlement of coming and fulfilling their entitlement either. I mean, we treat them like any other private property owner and respect the property rights to do with their property as they'd like to do. But that's kind of my give on the whole thing. So
I think that's a pretty good recap of where we stand. We discussed this. Any other questions or comments from the council in relates to
I would
this?
just like to add to that. In the development agreement, it was May 27, 1999, signed with Park City. And Bonanza plat, it was 260 residential units, an 18-hole golf course, a 20,000 square foot clubhouse, and a 75,000 foot resort-related commercial use on that site. And in order to do that, Park City had to guarantee them providing the water and take the sewer back over the hill, so there was no impact to the drainage. So that's where the entitlement sits, is on that property came from. And I think that's now what's being marketed as entitlements.
So Steve, the assumption would be that the current owner of Wells Fargo didn't have access to those entitlements,
He does have access.
or anyone they chose to sell that to.
Because it stays with the land.
They're on their property, correct?
Yeah. So they sold, whoever bought would have those entitlements.
So I think we've seen letters from folks wondering why we're not participating. We've also, at least myself, have received phone calls wondering why we would give up that potential tax revenue to Wasatch County. So I think our position is, as Mike stated, at least mine is, we're not objectionable, but we are participating in an indirect way, in a big way, potentially. So
Just maybe add to that, I did some calculations on this, on the 260 units that is could legally be built up there, and just estimated a value of about $2.5 million a unit. They're going to be exclusive units. That would bring in a taxable value of about $650 million a year in Wasatch County, or in value, with a 1% tax rate, which we're close to. That's $6.5 million a year. That would be coming to our schools and to the county, similar to what we're getting out of Deer Cove and Deer Crest. And so to say that we need to buy into that is, in essence, we already bought into it by giving that up.
okay, any other comments from the council then on this item?
I'm just curious about for the procedure, what would be next, and if there's any consideration of holding a public hearing on this, or
As far as what, potential funding,
deciding which direction to go with this.
Right? I think the direction it goes not up to us, it's up to Wells Fargo. If the people, the Park City and the people who want to buy it for open space buy it, then, I mean, as Mike said, we'd like to have a say in the open space.
Conservation easement.
Yeah, conservation. If an individual buys it, developer, then we would work with the developer because they're now in the county, just like we do any other developer. Isn't that correct?
So there's no decision on our part at this point.
Can't hear you. Nope.
We'll speak up or stay closer to the mic, how's that?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think if we're going to put money in open space, we should do it in the North Fields or something that would benefit the county residents that are closer to it.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons that Councilman Good asked for the next item on the agenda is to have that brief discussion about that potential. So if there's no further comment from the council, we'll move on to agenda item number 2. And then if I know Park City wanted to be here for this discussion, if they want to come back or ask that we have it on an additional.
What's that in my head?
Oh, okay. Yeah, is anybody here specifically to comment on that, on this item? Well, it's not, it was not a public hearing, but we certainly would entertain comments.
That's a question for someone.
Do you want that on next?
No, I think if Park City wanted to have that on an agenda, we would be willing to put that on at their request.
Hello, gentlemen. My name is Bridget Meinhold. I'm a resident of Brighton Estates, which neighbors the Bonanza Flats property. I think I speak for all of our main neighbors in saying that we fully support the open space and that we want that to remain as pristine as possible. However, I think it's a misjudgment on your part to say that this does not benefit you as a county. It's open space that your county residents use. It is your watershed, and it is critical for snowpack, for water, for ecology. It's more than just the environment. It's also a place where people go and recreate. And I appreciate that you want to contribute funds for open space down lower, where maybe more residents can use it, but your residents definitely use it in the winter and the summer. And I would encourage you to really consider that before discounting giving funding to that. Thank you.
Hey.
This is a kind of a side note, but first I wanted to thank Planning and Doug for helping us get the pit worked on last summer. And I wanted to just acknowledge that there's been some more dumping, not a lot there, but I would like to encourage that we continue putting a little pressure on Wells Fargo as this land transfer occurs to, if you were to drive up there, you'd see several piles of dirt that have not been smoothed out, and then it needs to be revegetated at least one more time. And the reason that's important is a number of our residents up there have lots within 1 to 500 yards from that, and it's a bit unsightly. So it might be time to try to resolve that revegetation issue, because as you know, they were operating that pit without a permit since 2008. And again, I want to thank you for the efforts to date and just say that we're not quite done with that, and it's kind of a side issue, but it might be time to deal with it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to agenda item number 2. Councilman Good, you asked that this put on, you want to start that discussion?